If you talk to yourself when you're alone, there's a quiet moment you probably know well. A moment where you catch your own voice and pause, not because you're embarrassed, but because you suddenly wonder what it means. You might have been told, directly or indirectly, that this habit is strange, awkward, or a sign of loneliness. Maybe you've even asked yourself if something is wrong with you for needing words when no one else is around. But here's what most people never explain. You don't talk to yourself because you're empty. You do it because something inside you is active, attentive, and alive. When you speak to yourself, you're not escaping reality. You're engaging with it. You're slowing life down just enough to understand it. You're giving shape to thoughts that would otherwise stay tangled and heavy in your chest. In a world that rewards constant noise, quick reactions, and surface-level connection, you've developed a different skill. You listen inward, you reflect, you process instead of pushing things away. That can feel isolating at times, especially when others don't operate the same way. But difference is not deficiency. This isn't about diagnosing you or labeling you. It's about helping you see yourself clearly. Because if talking to yourself has been a lifelong habit, it's likely pointing to deeper psychological traits tied to awareness, emotional intelligence, and inner independence. And once you understand them, you may realize that what you thought was a weakness has quietly been a strength all along. Part 1. You use language to make sense of your inner world. When you talk to yourself, you're not just filling the silence. You're translating what's happening inside you into something you can understand. Thoughts and emotions don't naturally arrive as clear sentences. Most of the time they show up as pressure in the chest, tension in the body, or a vague feeling that something isn't right. Many people live in that fog and react from it without ever slowing down to name what they're actually experiencing. You do something different. You put words to it. When you speak your thoughts out loud, you give your inner world structure. Feelings that were once overwhelming become more manageable because they now have language. Psychology shows that naming emotions reduces their intensity and increases clarity. It's not that the problem disappears, it's that you can finally see it. This is why you often understand yourself better after you talk. The act of speaking forces your mind to slow down, sort, and choose meaning. You're not overthinking, you're processing. You're building a bridge between emotion and awareness. People who don't do this often feel confused by their own reactions. You, on the other hand, develop a relationship with your inner experience. You learn what you're feeling, why it's happening, and what it might need. That ability to turn internal chaos into understandable language is a quiet form of intelligence, and it's one of the clearest signs that your mind is working with you, not against you. This is why you may find yourself narrating tasks, explaining ideas to an imaginary listener, or walking through decisions out loud. Your mind is using sound as a tool for clarity. Speaking slows thinking down. It turns mental noise into a sequence your brain can follow. You're not scattered or unfocused. In fact, it's often the opposite. You think deeply enough that silence alone isn't enough to organize it. By letting thoughts leave your head, you make room for order. What once felt overwhelming becomes something you can respond to, calmly and deliberately. This doesn't mean you suppress emotions. It means you stay present with them. You acknowledge what you're feeling without letting it control you. Instead of pushing discomfort away or exploding outward, you talk yourself through it. Over time, this builds emotional resilience. You become someone who can experience strong feelings without being overwhelmed by them. You don't need immediate escape or external reassurance to stabilize yourself. You can meet yourself in difficult moments and offer clarity, patience, and direction. That ability is not common, and it's one of the strongest forms of emotional intelligence a person can have. Psychologically, this means you don't equate being alone with being abandoned. Solitude becomes a place where you can think clearly, feel honestly, and reset emotionally. It may still be uncomfortable at times, but it's not destabilizing. This ability gives you a kind of inner shelter. When life gets quiet or unpredictable, you don't immediately feel lost. You know how to keep yourself grounded. What others experience as emptiness, you often experience as space. And space is where understanding and growth happen. Psychologically, this comes from self-reflection. Talking to yourself turns vague instincts into clear signals. You recognize discomfort before it becomes regret. You notice when you're acting out of fear instead of truth. Over time, this creates trust in yourself. That trust matters. It means you don't constantly second guess who you are when no one is guiding you. You know what feels right because you've practiced listening inward. In a world that often pulls people away from themselves, you stay oriented, not because you're stubborn, but because you're self-aware. You might talk through scenarios, argue both sides of a decision, or explain the situation as if you're teaching it to someone else. This isn't indecision, it's mental organization. You're turning chaos into structure. This is also why you often arrive at solutions that feel solid, not rushed. You don't rely on impulse. You reason your way forward, one sentence at a time. Over time, this makes you someone others may see as calm, under pressure, even if they don't realize the quiet dialogue happening beneath the surface. Because you talk to yourself, you catch patterns early. You realize when you're being too hard on yourself. You hear when fear is pretending to be logic. Over time, this gives you choice. You can interrupt cycles instead of repeating them automatically. This doesn't mean you're immune to struggle. It means you're conscious inside it. And consciousness is what turns experience into learning instead of repetition. Psychologically, this means your sense of identity doesn't depend entirely on external validation. You can stand on your own thoughts, your own values, your own understanding. Even when you feel uncertain, you don't feel empty. This ability gives you quiet confidence. You can walk your own path without constantly looking sideways to see who approves. You know where you stand because you've spent time listening to yourself. And that kind of independence isn't loud or dramatic, but it's deeply resilient. What may have once felt like loneliness is often actually depth. What may have seemed like difference is really awareness. You've learned how to guide your own thoughts, regulate your own emotions, and stand on your own understanding without constantly needing the world to hold you up. That doesn't mean you don't value connection. It means connection adds to you. It doesn't complete you. So the next time you hear your own voice, when no one else is around, don't question it. Recognize it. That voice is evidence of reflection, resilience, and inner independence. It's proof that even when you're alone, you are not empty. You are present.